This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, welcome to H2O. We're really excited to have you on board. I'm Natalie Kahn, CEO of H2O and one of the original founders.
And I'm Lindsay Wells, Chief Culture Officer. We want to welcome you to the company. We are excited to have you join our team, and we're going to take you through our intranet site now to provide you with a true understanding of the exciting culture we've created at the organization. We're going to take you through some learning objectives, which are going to be the history of H2O, the challenges that we faced, our learn approach, our RISE culture and values, and our best practices. Now, Natalie is going to take you through our history.
Thanks, Lindsay. First, some background on H2O. Lisa, our Chief Technical Officer, and I met in university when we were software engineer students. We worked together throughout our program and shared our vision of one day owning our own software company. We started H2O out of our basement, and within the first year grew to a point where we could hire 5 employees, which was no small feat. We created a work environment that was very open and honest, with all employees having a say in what happened. We empowered employees to speak their mind and bring up concerns where needed, creating an energetic work environment where everyone could share their ideas. In our third year of operation, H2O expanded our business globally to Japan, Ireland, France, Brazil, and South America. We realized that we needed to find an approach to blend the different cultures and in the process create our new corporate culture that encompassed understanding cultural differences, human behavior, and human motivation. After extensive research and reflection, we realized that blending cultures from around the world would require employees to step out of their comfort zone and embrace change. That's when Lindsay came on board to help us blend our cultures.
Now I'm going to take you through the cultural blending challenges that we faced. Because blending cultures comes with its fair share of challenges, and we identified 3 areas to focus on. First, there's cultural sensitivity. Next, there's communication. And lastly, there's conflict resolution. One of the most evident challenges we encountered with our global expansion is having to become culturally sensitive to each new culture. This included everything from drastic as the appropriateness of physical touch to something as simple as the formality of an email. Our challenge was gaining a well-rounded understanding of the culture and having that knowledge trickle through the entire organization so all levels can be respectful as we expanded. Once all of us understood and respected each other's cultures, we could learn the best ways to communicate. As H2O is a North American company, our baseline communication is quite direct. But as we expanded into new cultures, we had to consider indirect communication. The challenge was learning to adapt our communication style to a new method that was seen as respectful and accommodating to each culture. Even with a smooth transition, cultural conflicts are bound to happen. Different cultural backgrounds have different views on conflict, some seeing it as the opportunity to be productive and develop new perspectives, and others seeing it as a waste of time and deconstructive. The issue comes along with all team members feeling productive in the workplace and finding the middle ground where everyone can feel heard and valued. It was up to H2O to find a way to blend each culture's view on conflict and develop a new approach that worked for everyone. The true and overall goal that comes with blending cultures is making sure each person feels valued and respected in the workplace and that each culture has its own chance to shine and be appreciated. Now we're going to take you through the adoption of the learn approach to bridge gaps. So to help us deal with the challenges faced with our cross-cultural expansion, we took a learn approach developed by Yale Zoffi to ensure that all employees understood how to be culturally sensitive, effectively communicate, and deal with conflict resolution. LEARN stands for listen, effectively communicate, avoid ambiguity, respect differences, and no judgment. In terms of listen, we recommend that employees repeat back what the speaker has said to ensure that they clearly understood the statement and therefore prevent any misinterpretation. The speaker then confirms if the listener has the correct meaning or if the statement requires further clarification. We also encourage the listener to ask questions if they are unsure of what was said. This becomes extremely important when communicating across cultures to ensure that any cultural specific phrases are understood correctly, avoiding context being lost in translation. For effectively communicate, we follow a 4-step process. Number 1 is to use appropriate words in difficult situations to maintain an amicable situation. Number 2, deliver feedback in a balanced manner. Number 3, build on an idea. And number 4, provide positive reinforcement. For avoid ambiguity, one of the best ways to do this is to learn as much as possible about a culture. So we educate employees on various cultures throughout the company, along with providing all staff with a cross-culture guidebook with main phrases and a calendar of the special occasions in each country, so everyone can have a mini celebration to feel part of a global team. For respecting differences, it's important for employees to recognize that people from various cultures have different perspectives, and these differences must be respected. So employees are encouraged to learn as much as they can about the various cultures. And then for no judgment, we follow a 3-step approach, which includes number 1, describing the issues, number 2, interpreting the situation, and number 3, evaluating the response. This learn approach that we've taken created our blended corporate culture, combining our culture with the new cultures discovered through their global expansion. And now over to Natalie.
Thanks, Lindsay. So, when we were contemplating our global expansion, we realized with all the challenges we were facing with blending cultures, we had to find a way of dealing with these challenges, and we did it through, as Lindsay just went through, the learn approach. Now, from there, we took the learn approach and we developed our own cultures and values at H20. And our corporate culture RISE, which stands for, as I'll show you here, respectful, inclusive, supportive, and empowerment. So being respectful of everyone's ideas, cultural differences, and similarities really is what we think will aid in preventing challenges in communication or preventing conflicts from occurring. In terms of inclusion, of course, is because all ideas and all people need to feel accepted. So our culture and values really focus around inclusion. For support, this is really understanding people's needs to feel as though they belong. And this comes from the concept of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where people need to feel a sense of belonging to really open up and adapt to their surroundings. We want our employees to feel like they belong to our company, and we continuously support them at H2O. Lastly, empowerment. It's so important to have employees feel empowered. So being respectful, inclusive, and supportive all lead to the final value of empowerment for employees. We want employees to feel as though they can do anything they desire because they are completely supported, welcomed in the work environment. Empowerment will lead to productivity and help employees meet their professional goals, which will help us succeed overall. With our current expansion and as we continue to grow globally, we want our RISE culture and values to be ingrained into each location, whether it be France, Ireland, Japan, or anywhere else. By having common and shared values, we have found with our current expansions that each location we have expanded into has had common ground, and it has helped us blend our cultural differences together well. Now over to Lindsay with best practices.
Thanks, Natalie. While we understood the importance for a team to find common ground within the company values and cultural, in a respectful manner, we also acknowledged that best practices needed to be implemented to ensure continuity. We first looked at implementing the CCO position, so my role within the company, which provided expert knowledge of each culture. This pointed the employees with questions or concerns in a clear, neutral, and non-judgmental direction. Their questions were answered and concerns addressed in a sensitive and respectful environment which enhanced and encouraged open-mindedness. In addition to implementing the Chief Culture Officer position, H2O also recognized that employees needed to collaborate to maintain this momentum. Communication technology was provided to employees to enable a global and easy connection among each other. Policies and procedures further ingrained the impact that best practices had on cultural transitions as the company expanded. Focusing attention on and understanding how the different cultures impact the flow of productivity was value add in enhancing the team interactions, especially when time zones were an issue. A code of conduct was the next logical step to enforce acceptable behavior. This code specifically targets the potential conflicts that may arise in global teams. It promotes respect, inclusion, and equality amongst all employees, all the ingredients to encourage neutral grounds to which all team members feel safe to engage in and be creative.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Lindsay. And, and again, we want to welcome everyone to H2O. We're happy that you joined our company, and we're really looking forward to working with you. And we're really looking forward for you to embrace and encompass our cultural values within the organization and beyond. Thank you.
This conference will now be recorded.